Testing, testing. Actually, let me see if I can pull my stream up here so I can see the chat. Hello. Oh, here it is. Actually, let me see if I can pull my stream up here so I can see the chat. So I got my laptop on the side. Let's see here. Hey, what's going on? My laptop's here. So I just got the OBS sort of set up. So I want to test it out. And I figure, what's the best way than reacting to my old video? Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's kind of like a lag. So I'm using OBS on my desktop. And then kind of looking at the chat over here as well. Lots of people in the morning. Let's see here. Oh, I can see it here too. Sorry. Give me like 2 minutes to orient myself real quick. Let's see who's here. Caleb, how you doing? Rennie, Steven, what's up? Juan, DMB Reefer, what's up? Justin, 815, Chu on Tao, hello guys. Just testing out my OBS setup. For the longest time, I'm trying to wait for a webcam to get here. I'm trying to get the... can you actually hear me okay? Let me look at the audio actually. So I've been trying to get the Logitech, either the Stream Cam or the Brio. I think it's called Brio. The Brio is a little bit older, but the quality is supposedly really good. So I'm waiting for them, but they've been out of stock for a long time. And even though I can find them on eBay, they're like 50% more, or even 100% more. And yeah, I can pay that, but I just feel kind of ripped off. I'm not sure if I want to feel that. So I looked around, I procrastinated a little bit. Ultimately, I figured out that we can actually use my phone as a mobile webcam. I know my Reef Sensei Telegram has been doing it. I thought it's super complicated, but I finally went online this morning, spent like an hour reading up and figuring it out. And I think there may be a slight delay. Let me see. Procrastinate a little bit. Oh, there we go. Yeah, delay is about, I guess, like 30 seconds. So you see on the side, I have my laptop running because I'm a noob. Okay, I'll mute that. But today, what I really want to test out with this setup is whether I can do some reaction video. I'm gonna start out with my older video first, right? Because I can really bash and roast myself. But later on, if other content creators are okay with it, maybe I'll do some reaction video on other video that just came out that week or something, and we just kind of hang out. Sounds good? Excellent, excellent. Let's see. TJ, thank you guys. Yeah, it looks like there's like about a 30-second delay. Okay, all right, let's dive into it. I'm gonna test out this format, see if it works. And of course, you guys will like the fantastic IV cam watermark there. If I like this setup, I'm gonna buy the software. It's pretty cool. It's only like 10 bucks. Okay. Brian's Aquarium asks, why not get an Elgato device and use a DSLR as a webcam? I actually looked into it because I have a Nikon D600 entry-level full frame that I could use. But man, everything is out of stock now. I think everybody is trying to do live stream these days. And I really like the Elgato. I think the USB stick, that seems nice. But if I get a little bit more serious, I may do maybe actual card. That seems to be a good option. And Emily has been playing a lot more games, and I think she want to be an e-girl. So we'll go down that route when we get there. All right. Let's see. We'll hop on over here. This is my oh man. Okay, here's my channel. Let me sort it by, we'll go from the oldest. Maybe I should do most popular and then roast those. That'd be kind of cool. All right, let me look on the laptop to see if it's reflecting. I think it should. Max, good to see you. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's a delay. All right. So I think if I set this up right, if I play it here, we should kind of hear it as well. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right.
Hey, what's up, Reefers? Welcome to my new Reef-related YouTube channel. This is a spin-off from my main channel,
which includes everything. Since I just got this new setup,
it may be best for
And I can mess with the
myself and
audio
also,
level, I
like,
guess.
all my subscriber
Nice.
to create a separate Reef-related channel.
Dude, this was...
Keep, like, all the video
Yeah, I'll play it.
separate and organized. And if you're only interested in Reef...
Dude, this tank, when was this? January 24th, 2015. That's 5 years and then some ago. Oh man, look at this. That's my white belly kayak, Stinky. Had him at this, like, he ended up flying away to the forest behind my house. It's funny because, like, back then, people always thought that one of my smoke alarm is out of the battery's bad or something, because it would keep beeping every couple of minutes, and it was pissing a lot of people off. But it was actually my bird. It was actually Stinky. And there was Mac, of course. I missed that guy. Mac was 13 when he passed away. Last year, I think around April or May. It was right before Leon came out. Yeah, this is sad. It's just sad. But look at this tank, man. This tank I picked up locally. I think it's for $200 for the tank, the stand, and the sump. A really nice gentleman. I think he was Vietnamese, kind of young, maybe like right after college, something like that. Perhaps he was moving out of the house or whatnot. But him and his dad, look at how clean it is. I feel bad. I'll tell you the story a little bit later. Look at how clean it is. They cleaned it up. They helped me like move it down to the car, and then it's just like a beautiful setup. Before this, I did not have a tank. That was plumbed. Everything was kind of. Let me just pause this. So everything was kind of just like a fish tank, basically a fish tank. There's no plumbing, filters all hang on the back, and this includes like a 30-gallon and a 65-gallon. Can you believe that, with no sump? And this is the first tank that I have that is plumbed to a sump with a proper skimmer. So before that, I have like 10 plus experience doing like a kind of like a low budget tank build, and that's why I'm so comfortable doing those kind of like inappropriate builds. But this guy, man, this guy's awesome. All right, well, you guys hear me? Turn up the audio a little bit, and I'll check comments. I think I'm muted here.
Yellow tang, Rigo tang, all separate times, of course. I mean, even then, it's pretty bad to keep a tang in that size tank. However, I was not that good, so they unfortunately did not live that long. So tank size was not really an issue.
Did you guys? I'm about to roast myself, man. Did you guys hear that? Like, I guess there's my... I was trying to excuse myself of like a blue tank in a 30-gallon tank. Oh, 65 now. Back then, 65 was the latest tank. Basically, I guess I was justifying keeping small blue tank, or justifying first a channel name. And one of the example I gave was I kept blue tank in a 30-gallon and then a 65-gallon. And I was saying that it was like the fish are swimming okay, but the tank size didn't matter that much because it did not make it. That was, dude, I think the one in the 30-gallon. The 65-gallon actually lived a full life. Well, not full life, but it did really well. And later on, I had a blue tank in this 45-gallon tank as well. Lived for about, I think, like a year or so. And then I rehomed him to a much larger tank. And I'm still curious how he's doing, because like the person that got him, I think he said he's going to send some updates, but I never got any updates. All right, so one question here from Aiden. I want a nano cube, but I'm stuck with brands. Any suggestions? When you say nano tanks, the first name that could pop into my head is Innovative Marine. I'm a huge fan of the tank. The products is really innovative. They have a lot of nice ideas built into their systems, and I know they have their own factory in China as well. Versus a lot of brands bring kind of like generic or white label product from China to the US. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm sponsored or whatnot. I'm not. I try to work with them, but I just never panned out because I always ended up going with some other brands for different reasons. But they do have really good products. If I were to just buy a tank flat out, smaller tanks, because they're really well known for their all-in-one systems. I think Innovative Marine is definitely one of them. The other one that's kind of catching my attention is it's Fiji Cube. Sorry, Fiji Cube. Fiji Cube is I have the sump, have not used it yet. I was intending for it to be on a the 150 tank that I gave away due to the sketchy seam. But Fiji Cube, just based on the sump that they hooked me up with. Fantastic company as well. Really good workmanship. So that would be another company that would kind of check out. But Innovative Marine and FujiQ, check them out. Okay, let's grab one more comment and we'll keep going. I'll probably jump forward a little bit later on in the video because, man, I drone on and on. Okay, oh, there we go. Christopher asked, quick question. Could I do one tank alone in a 30-gallon high with very little rock work with a sump and protein skimmer? Oh boy. My channel name is Inappropriate Reefer, so I feel like if you have an exit plan for that tank, yeah, but a lot of people will probably disagree with that statement. A lot of people have the stance of if you cannot house this fish for its entire life, you probably shouldn't keep that fish. But I, like me, my friends, I personally have done this as well. Kept like a baby tiny little tank in a like 30-gallon tank, and after 1 year, when I noticed that the way they swim kind of changed a little bit, then I just rehomed them, and it worked out fine for me and the fish. I think, because the guy never got back to me and showed me some update. But yeah. But in terms of very little rock work, just make sure they have a place to hide as well. I'm not too worried about your handling the bow load, because I feel like if you, assuming you're getting baby tank, I hope you are, it should be okay if you keep up with your maintenance. Okay, let's see. Let's move on with this video.
So I got my 30-gallon tank for about, I would say,
and I'm tweaking, I'm kind of testing out different audio level for the video. Let me know if this is okay. All right, let's skip to a different video, man. Oh wow. Okay, this is funny. Leaky aquarium bulkhead debug and fix. I'm like, man, this is when I was like, all right, let's just record everything. And then the spray, okay, the spray painting is actually really cool. Like this one right here.
Hey, what's up, Reefers? So this.
I suck at spray painting. I've done it just a couple times before this, and people are like roasting me in the comments. It's like, oh, you say that you apply like a thin layer multiple times, but it's like too thick, it's dripping and whatnot. Yeah. I should have been more patient, but it came out fine. And this video is actually pretty popular for my channel because I guess a lot of people are trying to figure out how to, or is it safe? I think probably, is it safe to spray paint PVC pipes? Because a lot of pipes comes in white, right? And it has been. I use the Cryon Fusion, and that's really important. You want to use that one because it bonds really well with the plastics. It does not, at least I don't think, it leach. It certainly did not flake off. And I was talking to, I think it's Jim Reef Sensei, saying that like give it like 7 days to properly cure before sea water. Well, after the fact, we haven't met at this point. Did somebody say paint the cat? Somebody thought my dog Mac is a cat. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh boy. Wow, I've not seen in ages. I could just look at the title, look at the thumbnail, and just react to these. These are fantastic. Reef cleaners. Look at these. Wait, are these reef cleaner rocks? Dude, I always thought these are Pucanis. What? Dude, I have been living a lie. What the heck? Well, guys, you hear it first. I guess a lot of these rocks are actually reef cleaners. I thought these are Pucanis. What the heck? Okay, I know for sure the drop-off tank has Pucani because that's recent enough. But I guess my old man memory thought these are Pucani as well. No wonder they're kind of angular compared to Pucanis. I thought they just lost their shape over time. What? I have been living a lie. Oh, there you go. But, oh boy. Oh, chat is blocking you, man. Can you switch side? No, hold on. Let me see. Let me move myself. Oh no, I'm moving a chat. Like this. How's this, guys? Oh, this is funny, dude. Here, let me full screen this again. Hey, thanks for letting me know, by the way. As you know, I'm testing out this little format. Newbies at... Oh, whoa, the browser window. Oh, there we go. Yeah, dude. Apparently these are reef safer rocks. What the heck? So I guess it kind of matches up, huh? Because right now I'm using Reef Saver rocks from BLS and Marine Depot. Well, Marine Depot calls it something else. They call it like Aquamax rock. All right, well that's a revelation. You guys will hear about that in the next 135 update. Ah, boy. Oh, but this is before this, right? Before this, I've always used live rock for the most part. The ones that you have to keep moist. And this is one of the first time I used dry rock, and I will never look back. Well, I don't want to say never, but I probably will not look back to using live rock that I have to keep wet, because it's just so much easier. Sorry, escaping dry rock. I mean, over here, I actually spent about a week just stacking rocks together. I did not use glue, did not use any rod, because it's a little bit too permanent for me. I'm afraid of commitment guy. So I was just like stacking rock, and eventually I thought this looks good, so we went with that. So that's how that came to be. Apparently it was Reef Cleaner's rock. What? And oh, another rock that I tried recently was the actually no, I didn't try it. It's too early. But on Amazon, there's actually rock from around probably from the same quarry. They just did not really clean it as well. But people are saying that it's almost half the price of what BLS and Marine Depot were selling. So I would like to try it at some point. Right now I have more than enough rocks, so I did not order. I was thinking about it, but a lot of you guys pointed out that you can also try those. It's the same thing. So just keep an eye out on the Amazon ones as well. Oh shoot, man, how to clean your crusty power head. Look at all these clickbait, well, not clickbait, because I actually showed it. This was probably back in the days when I was using vinegar. Let me see. Look at this good old, is it MP40? MP40W. I bought that a long time ago. I think did I sell it? I think I sold it. I keep forgetting to do full screen. Sorry guys, practicing. Look at how crusty that is. This is probably yeah, I think it is. Yeah, so this was vinegar bath before I know any better recently. So vinegar, if you leave your equipment soaked in it for a long period of time, it's actually pretty damaging to certain power heads if they use a certain plastic. Namely, I think like the Vortex, also Gyri had the same problem happening. What happened is that the vinegar will actually penetrate the plastic pretty easily, depending on what kind of plastic you use, and cause the magnet inside to swell. And sometimes if your wet side just failed or stopped working or working really crappily, if you pick it up, you'll see that the housing is actually bulging a little bit. That means probably got destroyed by the vinegar. So I think vinegar, if you mix it up and you do a short soak, it is okay. I do remember Ecotech, the menu or like whatever, actually recommended doing vinegar bath, but it's a mixture and then of course a short soak. And here, well, not here, but like later on, I think I just like mix up the vinegar bath, just left it in there for a little bit too long, and actually destroyed at least 2 wet side, right? I was like, oh, why is it rusting? So I destroyed 2 wet side. I destroyed my Gyri pump because I thought that I was doing something good, but I ended up soaking it for too long. So watch out for vinegar. As an alternative, I've been using citrus acid. You can get like a I think it's like, is it like $5 or something like that? It's a nice pack like this. Lasted me like half a year already, and there's no risk of that solution penetrating the housing for these pumps. So I've been using it. It's been fantastic. I've been using it to clean the house as well. It's fantastic. So citric acid. I probably should make a note here, although I don't think people is not really seeing this video anyways. So that's one of the big thing that I've been developing actually recently. It's brought to a lot of people's attention. All right, let's jump to comment real quick. I need to do a better job tracking comments. Okay. By the way, thank you for all the mods. You guys are keeping order, I think. No trolls yet, but if there's trolls, I used to be a troll. I feel like roasting me is okay, criticizing me is okay, but like if obviously people start spamming things so that the render the chat useless, I think that's the issue. Okay, let's hop on real quick. Christian Corals, can I have a shout out to Christian Corals? There you go. Thank you for joining us this early. Well, it's 10 o'clock. Usually I wake up around 7 these days. So I think what I'll do is like talk a little bit. I'll grab on the comments, and really I should have the chat up on. Man, I think I can do the chat from this window, right? Nope. Savage Reefer. After all this time, how could you Pukani fake? Yeah, man, I just found out I had Reef Safer rocks. My life has been a lie. But Pukani in the drop off for sure. You see how behind I'm in the comments? And Nicholas, how you doing, man? Aqua Splendor. Man, how amazing when you look back to those white rock and you see all the living thing on it. Lao. I keep looking at my rock corals are literally spawning on it. That's amazing, dude. Yeah, I agree with you. It's funny because like yesterday I was on live stream with NPS Reefer on Instagram, right? And I made a comment. Well, first he commented that he really liked the rock work on the 135. I think he was being nice. And I mentioned that, okay, it looks unique, it looks interesting, and that's important for my tank for the first year, because I feel like the coral's not going to be growing in yet. I most likely have like small frags, and that's not, it just seems kind of out of place. So I feel like for the first year of tank, the rock work will be important in terms of like the aesthetic of the tank. And later on, after the 1 year mark, when the corals settled in and the tank stabilized and really expand and grown in, that's when the tank is really going to look good, and that's when the corals will actually take over. But before that, I feel like the rock may be the dominant visual feature of the tank, and that's why I kind of want to make sure. I know a lot of people saying rock doesn't really matter, blah blah blah, but I feel like for the first year or so, the rock is a pretty crucial part of the tank. Man, just do this. Hairs in my face, quarantine haircut, or the lack of. Let's do one more comments. Daniel P said, "Morning IP, been bored out of my mind. Just got my new reef gear in the mail, so give me something to do. I miss work." Did you say you miss work? I'm kind of curious what kind of reefing gear you got in the mail. And you know what? Now that I think about it, because it took me a little bit, I was like, you miss work? But now that you mention it, I do kind of miss having that clear routine. These days for me, I feel like work and life, or life outside of work, kind of blends together. I feel that I'm pretty much like I feel at least like 24 hours on call. It's like something comes in at work. Usually whenever I'm actually got to drive into work, I'll wait till the next day. But these days I'm like, dude, I'm like at home already anyways. I've just kind of rolled over and I was just like, all right, let's see what's happening. So yeah, I kind of do miss that set schedule. But work, I guess like work-wise, it's not as big of a difference for me, simply because I do web design and mobile app design. So I can just do my work. It didn't really impact me as much. So that took me a little. I was like, okay, you're right. You're right. Okay, let's see. EJ, I want your Snorlax pillow. Where did you get it from? He's referring to in my basement. I have like a huge bean bag that is in the shape of Snorlax. So I got the cover, like just a Snorlax shape, from Wish. Wish is an app. I think they buy directly from China factory, or they somehow source it, maybe from like Alibaba or something like that. It was like $25. It's really cheap, but it takes forever to get here. It takes like a month, which is okay. I mean, it's not something that's priority. So I got that first, and I got the beanbag fillings. I got the Big Joe one from Amazon. I think it's like $20 each. So the filling actually turned out to be more expensive because I got 3 bags of those to fill it, and it's not even full. So that costs like 60 something. So total cost about like 80, 85, but it's really awesome. All right, but you guys did not hop on to hear me talk about beanbags. So let's keep going. All right, let's see what else is interesting here. Let me know if you see any video that catch your mind. Oh, Reefs to Go cleanup crew. Is that where I got stuff from? Reefs to Go? I haven't visited that since. I probably got to check them out because it's almost time to restock cleanup to stock cleanup crew for 135. Oh, here's another thing. You notice that during cycle, I have some crazy algae, and that's something that I'm so used to. I'm totally fine with it. People are freaking out about like hair algae, bubble algae, and whatnot. I've been through it all, and the reason. Those of you who know, one of the reasons my channel is called Inappropriate Reefer is also because back in the days, not that long ago, maybe like 3-4 years ago, I used tap water. I've never used RODI water because dude, I was not ready to set up a RDI system at home. I feel like it's a pain in the butt. It turns out to be much easier than expected, as with a lot of things. I use tap water, and the TDS around my area is about between 170 to 200 range. At this house is 170. I think back then before I moved, it's about 200 range. I've always used tap water for 10 plus years. Always have algae. Always accepted algae as part of the hobby, and I learned how to control it, learned how to live with it, and I was okay with it. So doing cycling, I actually like seeing algae showing up. I know the popular things or the correct things to do right now is no algae cycling. You want the tank come out of cycle sparkling clean, and you do that by just not using light, right? I actually throw a light over my tank during cycle, and I can kind of tell my progress in terms of cycling is by right here. I can't point it. Can I point a screen? Can I point a screen? Right here. Usually around 5-6 weeks, I see brown diatom showing up like this, and then a couple days later, or a week later, green algae starts showing up. I feel like green algae maybe is a little bit more complex, but when green algae comes out, especially hair green algae comes out, I know that cycling is nearly complete, and then it'll burn off all the excess nutrient. And when I see that the green hair algae stop the explosive growth, then I feel like, okay, most of the stuff is probably burned off. I will go in, I'll just spend an hour or so, go in and just use some elbow grease and pluck all of them out, and leave some of the shorter ones for the snails and hermit crab to tackle. And I usually introduce cleanup crew after I see green hair algae. Because if I introduce it a little bit earlier, the tank water is still in flux, and also they don't really have much to eat. Definitely don't want to starve them. And another thing that I do with cleanup crew is that I don't overload my system with it. If my cleanup crew can kind of polish off all the algae within an hour, not an hour, a day, then I know they'll be in trouble, because once that, it means that that's the amount they consume. And once that's gone, then what I do, feed nori to them and stuff like that. But the cleanup crew is supposed to pick up the leftover, not for me to introduce more stuff into the tank. So I've been kind of a little bit careful in terms of introducing cleanup crew. And that's why I've been really nervous about buying a cleanup crew pack, because I feel like a lot of them will introduce too much. I guess the business side of it is that when people buy cleanup crew, they want to address the problem as quickly as possible. That's why vendor pack in all these stuff, versus the amount I want is for maintain, not to take down the level, if that makes sense. Let's check comment real quick. Whoa, Drama D said that my tap TDS is over 500. Are we having competition here? Danny P also said that. Well, Danny P said I used distilled water. When I was using when I was doing a 10-gallon tank, I actually used distilled water. I end up just those little jug guys, so I did that. But when I went to the 65-gallon tank, there's no way. I just used tap. Okay, let's see. Congratulations on the new tank, Daniel. Thank you for sharing the good news with us. Quaver Ash. I guess this is my midnight entertainment. I apologize you get me for your midnight entertainment. Alright, let's keep going. We are stagnant here. Let's go somewhere more interesting, right? I like livestock. I'm not a huge equipment kind of guy. I know some of my friends are really big on equipment, like Jim, Reef Sensei, right? Like tweaking with equipments, like Dev, Reef dudes. They're a big equipment guy. I am a livestock guy. Oh, look at these. Bangai cardinals. Bangai cardinals were the first fish I have in the 45-gallon tank, if I remember correctly. I kept 3. I kept 3 because I want a pair, right? I get 3. I figure the chance is good. I'll get a pair, and then the odd man out, I would just rehome. And that ended up happening. I ended up giving away the extra Bangai. Wow, look at this. Let me click into this.
Hey, was it reverse? So this is another update to the 45-gallon cube tank.
The reason I have the long spine sea urchin in there is let me turn down the volume a little bit. I'm not sure if it's too loud for you guys.
It's a new cycle tank that's ready for livestock.
The reason I have a long spine sea urchin is because they have a symbiotic relationship with Bangais. And what I find out later is that the Bangai actually have the relationship with the long tentacle anemones. I used to have one actually that's beautiful in 65. It's like a deep purple. I've been trying to find the same one. So Bangka actually have the relationship with anemones. It's when when the fish try to move across the ocean floor that they'll kind of go among the long spine urchin's spine. So the actual relationship is with the anemone, but failing that, they do have the sea urchin. Unfortunately, in this case, the sea urchin was not large enough for the Bangka to go between. But at least that was the plan. And I really like those long spine sea urchin. They get huge. I want to see if I could possibly keep one in the 135. For fish, I'm really leaning towards keeping fret fin or the blue-eyed cardinal fish. They're like really nondescript silver fish. I posted on Instagram. People made fun of me, like, oh, why that fish? No, they didn't make fun of me, but they commented. They're really nice. But the way they school together is fantastic. I wonder if they have some kind of relationship with sea urchin, long spine sea urchin as well. It'd be awesome if they do, but I gotta look into that. Check out the zoas. I love zoas. And this tank is weird. This tank went through phases where certain corals do really well and then they just kind of get pissed off and then they do decent again. And in the initial point of this of this tank, zoas did really, really well. So I was like, oh man, let's get zoas. And look at that, the blue one. The blue one is Tubbs Blue. That's one of the OG of zoas. When zoas first started getting named many years ago, it was like the purple people eater. That's a big one. Purple people eater. Tubbs Blue. That's another big one. What's Safecracker? That's a red zoas. That's another big one. And then there's like watermelon, eagle eye. That's kind of like, oh, okay, all right, it's like a second tier kind of guys. But back then, I really, really, really wanted a purple people eater, and I remember they were like $5 a pop. This was back when I was in college many years ago, and I thought that was super expensive, and I could not put a trigger on it. I'm like, oh, I can't. And my local fish store back then, funny because. Fantastic from Frederick, the owner. He used to, like 2 or 3 fish stores ago, used to work at that fish store that I used to go to pick up things. And it was back in Quince Orchard, around the Quince Orchard area. And they would sell this exact kind of zoas. I think this is watermelon or eagle eyes and radioactive eagle eyes. They seem to always come together. They'll sell little rocks, and this is even before there's a name. And I'll pick them up for like $15 or $20 on a small piece of live rock, and then it was different times. And I feel like back then there felt to be more magic in the hobby for me, simply because there's so much unknown for me. Not that I know a lot these days, but again, I'm a livestock guy. I like looking at different weird, odd things. And back then, every corner I turned, there's something new, and that's why it was so interesting to me, and it was like a magical time. Man, look at this. But I guess like in a year or two, I'm gonna start looking more seriously towards SPS, and I'm hoping to find the same feeling at that point, because honestly, I really know nothing about SPS, and there got to be a reason why people are so crazy over them. So I'm trying to find that magic. But look at these zoas, man. Wow, I still have some of these. Oh, what? When did I get the cabbage coral? I don't remember this. And were those ammo crab crawling around? Alright, while this is playing, let me check the comment real quick. I'll turn on the sound for you guys.
Which is great. This way, that means I can kind of like form a band right there. I don't like right here is like a spot. I don't really think that's too natural. I'd rather have like a big cluster, some kind of shape. So that's kind of my goal, and that's why I picked up those 2 mini homies. And
okay, let me answer a question real quick while I mute this. Abe asks, when you did the $146 gallon built, 10-gallon built, did I set the Aqua Clear 70 to high flow or low flow? I did the built and fish stayed at the far end of the flow. I did the medium flow because that filter is pretty powerful. But the Rockwood I set up, nothing really impeded the flow, meaning the flow just goes straight through and hit the glass and then come around. But I did medium flow. And if you feel that the flow is still too high for your fish, some people actually buy the Aqua Clear 50s propeller and replace the propeller in the 70. It's the same size, it fits right in, except the propeller is a little bit smaller, so you don't pull as much water. So that's one way. Or you can always use like some kind of floss, media, and stuff like that to kind of block off the flow. But if you do that, make sure to clean it because the trident is going to get trapped there. But medium flow and the fish had no problem. And I have 2 tiny baby clownfish. Australian Reefer, how are you doing in Australia? I need to visit you guys. Craigs, hi everyone. Dion Canthus Reef. What prompted this? Just looking for content in quarantine or feeling nostalgic? A little bit of both. Like, I would like to do a solid video each week, as I always do, and I want to introduce some kind of live stream because I feel like I would love to do some reaction video. BLS Thomas, well, it used to be Big L. He does a lot of reaction, and I really like that idea. I thought about it, but I just thought technically it's a little bit too difficult to pull off. Until today, I've been trying to get a webcam, couldn't get it, and so I was like, okay, well, how about the phone? Because I know my Reef Sensei Telegram been using his phone as well as a second camera, and turns out I was able to do it. And so basically, I have everything I need right here. So this is a test run to see if I can kind of pull something up on my computer to play in the background while I have my little ugly mug in the corner to talk about it. So I'm hoping to do like one kind of stream like this and then like a regular video. All right, let's hop on to a different video and see what we got. Bangai, man, Bangais are cool. Bangais are cool. I'm debating if I want to add a pair to the 135 as well. But at the same time, I feel like there's so many fish I want to add to the 135. Dude, this looks nice. What is this? Oh, man.
For this week.
This tank looks nice. I have not seen this tank in this. It's so neat. Oh, what happened?
It's no longer carrying eggs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Let me mute this. So, at one point, actually, the male Bangai actually carried eggs in the mouth, I think, a couple times. Wow, look at the frog spawn. It's happy. It's really happy. The tank looks so good back then. It's a different look. I think this is more like, how would you say it? Curated look. This is a little bit more curated. You can tell things are planted there. Versus after like a 3-year mark, I just kind of gave up. Tank just took a wild turn and things are just growing in. Certain corals just dominated, which is fine. I like that growing in look. It's a different feel. It's a different feel. And you may be wondering, what's up with that block of rock on the overflow? So the previous owner, I think epoxy that onto the overflow. There was like probably an SPS there looking at it. And I just kind of left it because I was afraid if I pull it off, I'm going to pull some of the acrylic off or something and leave an ugly scar. So I just left it. Is that Mac Float? I have not seen one of that in ages, but Mac Float used to be the thing. Every single tank I got, I have a Mac Float. At one point, I actually used Mac Float as a frag plug before they were cool. Like, I would glue frag onto it and use a Mac Float to hold it in place. Man, back in the days, man. Check out the frog spawn. Whoa. And you see the Monty in the back? And the Gorgonian. Is that the same? That is? Wait, no. Is that the same Gorgonian I have? I don't remember. No, it's not. It's different. I think it's different. What happened to that Rainbow Nam? I don't remember these corals. What? Oh, the Florida. Okay, the Florida Ricordia. That's one corals I really miss. I really love the Florida Ricordias, especially the orange one, because number one, they're always open, right? It's not like Zoas. They could close up if they're pissed off. They're always open. And number two, I really like that metallic look of Florida Ricordias. But at one point, like I mentioned before, at one point of this tank's life, Ricordia just were not happy. They all melted away. I did not know why. I did not do any water tests. I should have. Are those the Rhodactis? Look at this. The orange and green. I did not know I had it back all the way back then. That's crazy. I did not know. Oh my god. All the things you find out, right? The fact that I was not using Bacani rock in this tank. I thought it was Bacani. I need to get some Florida Ricordia, but man, they're expensive now. I think back then it's like 10 bucks a pop or something like that. Now it's like 30, 40. I need to... Oh, that little rock right there of all the Ricordias. Orange Ricordia at the bottom screen right now. I think I picked it out for like 40 bucks. And I pick all these up from my local reef club. Other members, they'll post up for sales. Oh, wow. This is great. I need to just do this more often. All right, moving on. Oh, look at this guy right here. This video is popular because a lot of people were looking into this. All right, well, let me flip over to comment real quick and let's see what we got.
Well, sorry. Same size, different shape. On the right-hand side, we have the small sphere. On the left-hand side, we have the small oval.
How you doing, birds?
So, really quickly, ecosystem
Shout out,
is
Danny.
a self-contained
Got you.
enclosure with 4 shrimps and some algae. The concept is that this is a self-sustaining ecosystem where algae will grow from the sun.
Okay, quick browse. No serious questions, so let's keep going. This is fun. So I actually got these as Christmas gifts, I think, for my family. So this is before I know. This system is well, so it could be self-sustaining, but some people are saying that the little shrimps are actually starving to death, and just that they're so hardy that it takes a long time for them to starve. The newer versions of these kind of container now comes with a little top stopper at the top where you can actually open it up and feed the shrimp or get them out as necessary. So I feel like that's a little bit better. But this video was really popular because this is an interesting concept. What? Sun coral. Oh boy. You notice there's diatom?
Hey, I'm about to...
You notice there's diatom on the same bed. This is back then when I was still using tap water. Water quality is not good. Not good. But somehow things are happy. Sun coral, I picked up this like super healthy colony for cheap. And I've been feeding them. But it's a pain in the butt because I got them, man, it's still kind of loud. But it was a pain in the butt because like they would open usually at night. So I'll wake up at night, try to feed them, and they're not like the phahydendral where they stay open. Like I'm looking at it right now, it's open. So I get to catch them when they're open and try to train it. It's just a little bit too much work, especially because I don't think they share the same. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Maybe all the mouth share the same because all the tissue seems to be connected. So I think they share energy. So if I feed just a couple, I don't have to hit every single mouth. I think. Don't quote me on it. But I think if the tissue is connected, they share nutrients, so it may be okay. But just too much work. So I ended up trading him for something with a local reefer after like a week. I was like, I can't do this. I can't keep this up. But this is one of the most healthy and beautiful sun corals that I've ever came across that I got in my tank. At some point, I would love to try it again in my mangrove tank because in the mangrove tank now I have the phahydendral, I have the Christmas tree worm rock, which all require feedings. And sun coral would fit in perfectly. And some people actually have a success with sun coral where they kind of propagate naturally in the tank. So that would be super awesome to see as well. So sun coral's on my list. Did I talk about what happened here? Oh, maybe it's a different... Yeah, I think I talked about here. But I forgot what I traded him for. I just remember I got a fantastic deal. Great. Look at this. Oh, this is fantastic. The Great Algae Battle of 2016, part 1 of question mark. Again, this was back then when I was using tap water. I have cyanobacteria. I'm battle ready, man. I'm so used to dealing with algae, it's no problem at all. I think at this point I use ChemiClean, I think. Oh, look at that Yasha Gobi. I miss that guy, man. I'm debating if I want to try Yasha again. Wait a minute. You see the goat torch? Do you guys see the goat torch? You know how much is it worth these days? Oh, price coming down a little bit. Oh, that's a Space Invader Pactinia as well. Space Invader Pactinia. I think I spent 60 or 80. Somebody was selling this locally. And back then, well, I still am not that well off. I'm like, oh, they have like a variety of price range. I picked the smaller, I think it's like $40. I was like, oh, try that. I don't want to kill it, and it's a lot of money. So that's $40. That was like one of my big purchases back then. Oh man, what a blast. Look at that. You notice that's, okay, so that anemone right there, that's the one. That's the one that kind of took over. The rainbow I gave away because of the color. I'm not a huge fan of like mixed color anemone unless it's like a sunburst kind of deal, right? But when it's like red and green, I'd much rather it be like just straight up red because I feel like they kind of like contrast it out a little bit too much for my taste. But look at the cyanobacteria. Mocha Vinci. Did I talk about picking up the Mocha Vinci clown? Because that's oh boy, look at this. This hurts. This one hurts. So this is when I saw the magnificent Iridory anemone from BLS Diver Stand. I made this rockscape just for that an enemy. I know. Okay, first of all, I know Rhetoric an enemy gets huge. I know they're gonna go to the highest point of the tank. I know they want crazy flow. I know they want like crazy light. So I have that spot picked out. This tank was built around that an enemy. Because for this tank, if you go back to the first video, I said that for this tank I want Clownfish and enemy to be the main focus, or the theme of this tank. And among all the enemies, besides like sunburst or whatnot, I really wanted a magnificent enemy because it's huge. The way it's laid out and stuff like that is fantastic. It reminds me of a Reef crest. So when I see that an enemy showed up on Diver Stand, I immediately hopped on it. It was not cheap. It was like 250 or 300, something ridiculous. It was a super beautiful one too. Just look at that. And I did what I thought was a lot of research. I know that a lot of enemy come in needing help, but I was not completely prepared. I do have the antibiotic Cipro, but I did not have a hospital tank setup until I saw that, okay, maybe it's not working out. So nowadays, if this enemy comes in with the mouth slightly ajar, what I would do is just like, or maybe just like right away, just go into the hospital tank and just do the antibiotic treatment right off the bat. But I have something set up later on. It was a little bit too late. It was really sad. This is a really rare specimen that I came across. But I'm not sure if I'll try another one. Here's actually where I actually bought another tank just for this enemy's hospital tank. I think it arrived the next day, thanks to Amazon Prime, but still it's not enough. Really sad about this one. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'll put a huge enemy like this in my 135. Just take up too much real estate. Because in the 45, it was no Bruno when an enemy took over pretty much half the tank. Alright, let's see what we got. Let's talk about my favorite fish, Magikarp. And that's my Pokemon Go days. For like 2 months, I just went nuts. Going out every night, walking around the lake for 2-3 hours on end with some friends, and we're just, Pokemon Go the whole way. Oh, this is interesting. Alright, in the meantime, let me catch one comment real quick. Look at this. I was even wearing like a Pokemon Go shirt. How awesome is that? Man, I looked so young back then. Live, eh? Okay, so I think I had it with LG issue at this point. I just decided to do the 3.5 days blackout or 3 days blackout. Dude, stop talking. Put this off. Did I play some crazy music here?
Alright, you guys ready?
Oh, this is before my music days. Look at this guy for dramatic pause.
Look at this.
Yeah, dude, but no, I did not peek beforehand. A lot of these are actually in real time. Actually, almost everything is real time, legit. Uh-oh, baby crying. Give me 1 second, guys. Watch this.
Clear, even though, I mean, the sandbag typically is clear in the morning, but this is really clear. Water's really clear. Look at this guy. Oh, yeah. Female clown noticed that the male clown snuck in at night, and she started pushing him out. But as you can see, it's completely wet. I'm really nervous about this, actually. So I'm gonna...
Alright, what did I miss? Good old Radeon. I think this is the wow, why is it all wet? Oh, it's the condensation within the
I did not think about this. I was pretty stupid. Lack of experience.
Yeah, it is a condensation from the cover. But blackout works. Blackout totally knocked out all the algae, except they come back after a couple days because the underlying issue is still there. The excess nutrient, or I think it's still tap water at this point. That was the issue. But blackout does knock back the algae and give your maybe a macroalgae a chance to kind of catch up and whatnot. But it's kind of like a hard reset. So I went with a 3-day blackout here. Later on, when I battled Dino, I did a 3-day followed by 5-day blackout. That took the Dino out because I also dosed hydrogen peroxide at the same point. But if I were to battle Dino again, I'll do a different approach. The convention these days seems to be raising your nitrate and phosphate to introduce other type of algae to outcompete the Dino and then address those algae. And I think Reef dudes actually have a really nice step-by-step instruction that includes like dosing vodka and stuff like that. Okay, that was cool. This one's popular too. I need to do an updated one. So this is Swaggle. Look at this. Look at the fish. Pair of Yashas right there. So yeah, like I mentioned, I beat Dino doing blackouts plus hydrogen peroxide. It just worked. I found that formula somewhere online and it worked. Oh guys, look at the hippo tank right there. I think at this point the hippo tank is a little bit larger. But look at the space invader bacteria. Dude, look at the gold war hammer and the elegance coral. The Rhodectus, the orange. Can you guys see my mouse? The orange Rhodectus is still there. Yeah, these guys are super slow grower, and there's an anemone already creeping up on the frog spawn. And look at all the blue clove right above the anemone. This is great. But yeah, the hippo tank moved on to a new home after a year mark. It was a fun challenge to catch them. Man, those Zoas and Pallies, I didn't know they'd been there for that long. Wow. Oh, it's great. I still have a lot of these Zoa Pallies and the Monty, of course. Look at the gold torch. What happened to the outer piece? Did it die? I know I got brown jelly at one point. Maybe I lost a big colony of gold. That's the conch, I think. Whatever I'm filming there. Look at the emerald crab before they start going to town. Look at the Yashas, man. Should I get Yasha Goby for a new tank? What's that in there? Green Clown Goby? That guy took out one of my pistol shrimp. Good times. Hello, Mariana. How y'all doing? Let's see. Nicholas noticed that I have 99 notification on my YouTube page. Yeah, man, never... Did I ever check? I think I check like YouTube messages once in a while. I don't even know where it is. I have to look every single time, so I never really check it. So the best way to reach me is probably Instagram DM, which has been pretty full these days. It took me a couple days to get back to people. I feel bad. Or email, like with something a little bit more serious. Okay. Man, this is cool looking back at this. Let's see what else I got. Oh, man. You know, let me scroll back up a little bit. This one right here. Can you guys see my mouse? This video right here. It's here, BLS 4-stage RDI system. This is the first video that I actually tried editing. Before then, it's like either like straight shot or really simple cuts. So this is when I first got my RDI system from BLS, this 4-stage, and tried to set it up. Yeah, see? Like I started putting in some effort in terms of editing things. I was like, oh, you know what? People are actually kind of looking at the video. Let me just present them a little bit better. And then once I get started with editing, I kind of, I don't want to say fall in love. It's kind of like a necessary evil for me. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. So I started doing it a little bit more. But later on, at some point, I started finding it fun, a hobby in itself in terms of video editing, and later on thumbnails. I don't love crafting video titles, not yet, because I'm not a witty guy. But hopefully I'll grow to like it as well. It was a fun time. So, but this video is when I actually started putting more effort in terms of editing and thumbnails. Man, I talk a lot, don't I? I still talk a lot. Look at this fantastic thumbnail. Look at Golem. And this video is like, I think I pulled out my DSLR for it. Was it from a macro lens? I don't think. This looks like it's from macro. Let's see. Elvis the Scarlet Hermit. I think I call him Elvis because there's like a fan worm growing on him. Dude, this is so cool. Man, this trap about to pour it out. I'm looking at my silver belly wrasse. I tried to catch him 5 times. Literally, like 5 different occasions trying to catch him. Every time I dive into sand. And whenever I try to scoop the sand out, it just kind of goes somewhere else. I'm about to pull that fish trap out again. What is this? Oh man, artfully acrylic. These old school fish store. Macams. This is one of my first travel vlog. This is Macam, 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 Macam. Did I? Yeah, I flew to Canada, Toronto. I think this is actually one of my first trip that I kind of went out just to, not really for. It's kind of for content as well. Also to hang out with some friends, but it's one of my first trip. And it was kind of us. Well, I still am kind of nervous sometimes, like to talk to the store owners. Like, hey, is it okay if I film here? Especially being that the Asian or Chinese specifically, because like in Hong Kong and stuff like that, they value privacy. Like if you go into the store try to film, usually they'll stop you, and I was like, oh, okay, let me just ask. But the guy, even though they're kind of blunt, but they're totally okay with it. Like, yeah, it's fine. So it's kind of cool. And Asian arowana, I really wish I could keep one in my lifetime at some point. As you know, they're on CITE and they're not legal to keep in the US. But our neighbor Canada totally fine with it. And I believe all of these are captive bred. And captive breeding have been really successful for Asian arowana. I don't think anybody's really pulling them from the wild, but from what I understand, like U.S. did not open them up because they're afraid that once we legalize arowana, people may go out to the wild to catch them again simply because they can fetch a good price. But captive breeding have been really, really successful, and they're expensive fish. There's like anything from like 1,200 to like 3,000-4,000. This is like when Sally, let's see. 8G tank update. Yeah, that was a whole story arc as well. Like Sally saw the tank, like, oh yeah, I want to keep a fish tank too, so got her hooked up. This is House of Tropical. Her tank's still up and running. She got, wow, look at her hair. I gotta show her this. Good times. So she has the drop-off tank now. And she got 2 clowns in there as well. One black clown that she has for a while, and then she added like a maroon. Look at the editing skills. Good times. House of Tropicals. Oh, this one. Oh, man. So I went, while I was in Canada, I asked Sally to come over and take care of the, like, help feed the fish and top off water and stuff like that. So she did this whole little bit. People didn't like it, though. Man, look at this. It's like, why am I watching this? So I guess you guys don't like skits? What's this guy here? Oh, this is kind of cool. I forgot what happened, honestly. This was nice. Reef Palooza, New York, New Jersey. I was starstruck. Let me just say I was starstruck. Like, I was seeing all these people that I watched online, right? I was like, oh man, that's so cool. I'm meeting them. I was like, I still do. There's still a lot of people that I meet these days. I was like, oh man, this is the coolest thing. I still watch it all the time. Was Nicholas here? I think Nicholas was at Magna, right? Well, let's see. Oh, Sean. I haven't seen Sean in so long, man. Hope he's doing well. And this Mel. Oh, dude. I was like, okay, this is really cool. I was like, Billy Pipes, big dude. DC, Billy Pipes, how y'all doing? So I was like, okay, if I want to do something, like, let's do this. This is like Korean, like back then it was pretty popular. It's like, meaning it's like, there's like a heart, right? This is the thing that I was doing. Good times. Carl Lush, Daniel, or Danny, how y'all doing? Totally sensory overloads, right? Yeah, I'm kind of sad that a lot of shows got postponed this year due to COVID. But looks like they're all rescheduled for later part of the year, which is good. So it's still happening. Which is good. I think I'll definitely make the Reef in New Jersey because it's a, I don't want to say it's easy drive, but it's a drive. It's not flight. So it's more doable. And I think it's in December. So I'm pretty sure I'll do that. Aquachella, I want to go. I understand that I think it's Dallas one that's going to be on Halloween, and I thought it would be an interesting time to go. People will show up in costume and whatnot, so that would be fun. And Magna, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the date and location yet, so I'll look into that. Usually I try to make one of those. One of each, sorry. Because they usually have multiple shows at different cities. And they all have really different vibe. Man, look at that red carpet. That's nuts. Alright, see what's happening. King of Soul asks, is Sally ever going to do an update? I ask her all the time, man, but I think she's a little camera shy. So you guys can ping her. She updated her Instagram once in a while. She's enjoying her clownfish and anemone. Yeah, ping her. Let her know you want to see an update. King of Soul says, just move in with King of DIY. That would be awesome. He got a lot of aquariums. I see that he's getting more into saltwater side of things, which is fantastic to see. But I envy him with his stingray and Asian arowana. I would love to be able to keep them. Stingray, I think I can keep here. But without arowana, I'm not sure if I'll just set up a tank for stingrays. Yeah, Aqua Splendor, Nicholas. Yep, was at Magna. Move to Canada and get a pond. I wish, man. Need to find a job. If you can find me and Emily jobs in Canada, we'll talk. Alright, let's see what else we got. Oh, Cops. He's one of the local reefers. He has an amazing tank, and he's a speaker as well. And of course, Jake Adam. Awesome. And there's Ryan, George, Richard, Sean. I think all these guys here, I think the overlay of what I'm saying is like all these amazing people that I watch online, I'm meeting in person for the first time, and it was amazing. I mean, these days when I still talk to them, I'm still like, holy crap, this is awesome. And they're all super nice people. And I think I remember Sally in particular loved George. How are they doing? Good times. Oh man. Look at this. Oh, there's Emily. I think we've caught the point where I actually met her. I think it's 3 years ago now. She used to be in DC, moved back to Hong Kong. So I was at that time we're kind of seeing each other, feeling things out. So I was okay, well, let me go to Hong Kong and meet up. And I grew up in Hong Kong till I was 12. And what happened is that when I was young, I was living with my grandparents, and my grandma would always bring me to this street. This street is called Goldfish Street. And the next street over is called Bird Street. And then the next street over is the Flower Streets. So they all have a theme. As you can see on this street, it's stores after stores of freshwater and marine fish. When I was growing up, it's mostly freshwater. These days, I'm starting to see more and more marine stuff. And there's 2 levels. Well, more than 2 levels, but usually store-wise, it's 2 levels. First level, usually freshwater stuff. Second level, usually marine stuff. Less foot traffic, and sometimes you have to bus to go in, take stairs up to second level, and it's really interesting because I never really used to go. Actually, I never went to the second level when I used to visit as a kid. And I was actually meeting up with a couple online friends. I mentioned, I think it's on Instagram or YouTube, that I'm visiting Hong Kong. Love to visit Goldfish Streets, and they're like, "Yo, hit me up when you get here. We'll meet up." And sure enough, we met up. And we check out some of the stores. And like always, I talk a lot. And they have some amazing Planet stores. 2 in particular stood out. This is one of them. And the other one is David Child's at the 2nd floor, which I did not visit on this trip. I went back again a year later. Look at this. Just look at this. But they're really protective in terms of these tanks, in terms of filming. Because they are entering these to competition, and supposedly you're not allowed to show them before, I guess, the result comes out or something like that. Or they just don't want a competitor to see them. So they allow me to film individual sections, but not as a whole. So this is really interesting. And this kind of went back to, I was like, Christmas tree won't rock. This went back to when I mentioned like how in Asian country, Hong Kong in particular, they're pretty standoffish in terms of being allowed to film. There are a lot of things I want to film, but I did not get permission. So I'm like, whatever, no big deal. I mean, that's the custom. So it's all good. And here we go. We got Adam and shoot, I forgot his name. Sorry. Adam slipped my mind. Either way, they're showing me second floor marine stores. And one interesting thing with, look at all these people. With fish tank keeping there is that they're more accepting to more like a fish only system. They're more accepting to keeping more fish in the tank versus in the U.S. Because if in the U.S. people show a tank with like a lot of fish, pitchforks and torches, and the people carrying them will be showing up at your door the next hour. But here is the norm. Again, different culture, different costume. Look at all the clownfish, and there are a lot of I'm not too familiar with like high-end fish, but when I was showing this video, a lot of people commented, "Oh man, look at that, the iron rod butterfly or something like that," and conspic angel, and there are a lot of really high-priced fish here. That's the conspic right there that I did not know and still do not know. And in a subsequent video, second visit, one of my friend actually picked up a jam tank for a really good price. Oh man, cool, so cool. And funny thing is like Fishers is right. Bird Street is also one of my really popular, one of my favorite street to visit as well while in Hong Kong. But Emily absolutely hated birds. She's really afraid of birds. So I ended up going in. She's just kind of, this clown right here, the clown that I showed, absolutely beautiful, and people don't know where it's from. It's from Africa somewhere, but like they don't know a specific name for it, and a lot of people have been trying to find it. But it's really, really rare. So cool. I think, is this K Coral? K Coral is really cool too. K Coral, they're doing really well. Yeah, it's K Coral. They're doing really, really well. Do a lot of custom work. I think the owner is Ken. So they were kind enough to let me go film in the store and gave like a whole spiel on their operation and what they're doing. And I follow them on Facebook, and they do a lot of really innovative stuff and nice builds around the Hong Kong area. All right, let me check comments real quick. Holy, 好靚仔啊. Good taste. Just kidding. Good morning. Or if you're in Hong Kong, good night. Good evening. Jazz Moses, what's going on, man? I need to get involved in local shows. Never hear about them till after. I think like if you have a local Reef club, that's probably the best way. Or sign up for some mailing list for shows that you know is around the area. Okay. ATF in the house. Doing live streams now. Great. Yeah, I'm testing it out, man. I'm trying to do like one actual edited video as always. And then since I'm home all the time, I figure I'll try to do a live stream setup. Maybe do some kind of reaction video either to my old videos, or if other people allow, I can react to their video, or maybe we'll do a virtual tank tour and stuff like that. So I've been doing stuff like that on Instagram Live because it's so much easier. I can just flip the camera on and people can request to join. But on desktop, where the quality is a little bit better, it's a little bit trickier, unfortunately. So I'm trying to set up OBS to make it work. Seems like it's okay. It's streaming right? Abdel Rahman Mohammed, shout out. All right, let's see. Let's move on. Man, been going for Mochi, dude. These 4 videos I really want to talk about. This guy. Oh, this guy. Oh, this guy. Oh man, dude. Mochi, my board skin frogfish. So I think my channel goes through different phases. What just ended was the 10-gallon budget nano build phase. I feel like when people talk about my channel, they usually remember that. But before that was this 17-gallon drop-off tank with a frogfish. That was that face. That's what the channel was known for. Number one is drop-off tank, and I got the drop-off tank first, and then I want a unique fish to go with the tank because the tank is so unique. And I thought frogfish would be perfect because they kind of walk and crawl. They don't need a lot of swimming room, because I feel like frogfish dimension is not the best for swimmers. So frogfish, fantastic. They did perfectly fine with bubble tip anemone. That was one of my concerns, like would an anemone sting it and capture it and eat it? Not the case. Frogfish is smart enough to avoid it. And then the second question was, would green star polyp bother the frogfish? Does it sting or whatnot? Not the case. No problem at all. But this tank is now living with Sally. She converted it to a straight up mixed reef and is looking pretty good. Oh man. Yeah, so tank started out, I think, known as this 45-gallon tank. And then I think I started doing more traveling, and that's kind of what's driving the channel a little bit, like traveling, fish stores, shows. And then drop-off tank happens. And then after the drop-off tank, the 10-gallon Magellan tank happens. And hopefully, from this point forward, it'll be the 135 and also the mangrove. I think mangrove tank is going to be interesting as well. I have it right next to me. It's fully cycled after all these time. And it's going to be macroalgae and MPS. So I'm interested in seeing whether the mangrove tank or the 135 is going to become kind of like the theme of this channel, the underlying theme. This was a cool tank, man. Pain to keep clean though, let me tell you. Those GSP carpets trap detritus like no others. Every week I have to like make sure the GSP closes up and use a little tube to siphon out all the detritus. I never really do a full debriefing on this tank. There's lots of lesson learned. Look at all the detritus collecting right in the middle. Reef jaw, dude. I had high hopes for this. I had high hope for this tank. So there was the Rico's Nano Tank Challenge. There's a Nano division, a Pico division. I joined the Pico division using this jar right here. It looks beautiful. Either way, it looks beautiful with the sand and the rock setup. The idea is that every week I'll just do a 100% water change. This way the tank is never fully cycled because there's probably not enough biomedia for the tank. It's not going to be stable. But that's okay because the volume is so small. I'm just going to use 45 gallons water change water to cycle through 100% of the jar's water. But the problem comes when I added water to this tank. Like I solved all these issues, water splash and stuff like that. I added a rim. So water does not there's no salt creep. Look at how nice this looks. I even got a shelf just for this. But the problem is, when I add water to this jar, the deformity is terrible. Like the rock looks huge and there's like no room in the jar at all. I got so discouraged, I just took down the tank and forget about it. Did I even film? I think I probably did. Yeah, it's somewhere in here later on. I talked about it, why I broke it down. It was so disheartening. Like everything's like laid out perfectly. I added water. Everything just kind of got blown up and distorted based on how I look at it. I was like, I'm not going to set this up. Oh man, here's where I met Ben. Actually, I think I met him a little bit beforehand and I went back again for tips, I think. 3 tips from Mighty Nano Tank. This was a fantastic video as well. Shout out to Mr. Mighty Nano Tank. He's doing really well on Instagram. I keep trying to ask him to go on YouTube. He got some solid tips as well. Yeah, definitely check him out. Great guy, great content, great tanks. And talking about tips, continuing my trips around the US, around the world, I went to Orlando with Emily in tow, and she was like filming for me here. And we visited Worldwide Coral, and then we visited Top Shelf Aquatics, which I did a live stream with recently on Instagram as well. They're both like super kind. They treated me well. They took me around, showed me their farm. Back then, Worldwide Coral, they don't usually open their farm to public, but Frank from Worldwide Coral was like, oh, just hop on the car and let's check it out. And I think there's another kind of like milestone for me in terms of content creation for big stores like this to take me a little bit more seriously and spend the time to have somebody to walk me through it, give me a tour. I think it's It's flattering, and I really appreciate it. And this Frank, fantastic guy. That guy actually showed up. Was it in Tanks? Oh no, not Tanks. Sorry, it's another one. A reality TV shows for fish tank installers, and he used to work at and I think it's a import export for fish, and he would show up on TV whenever like that group of that company goes to pick up fish and corals. So I asked him for some tips. He gave some solid ones as well. So this was another fun little outings. So same thing as, oh no, did I quit all the way out? Same thing with Top Shelf Aquatics. Also took me around to, back then the farm's a little bit smaller, but Remy and Austin also spent a lot of time just showing me. You can tell, like you can really tell that they really love the hobby, and they were just like showing me all over the farm and all the little nitbits and share a lot of tips. And it's funny because like back then Remy and Austin, they were talking about starting a YouTube channel either for Top Shelf Aquatic, or they can do something on the side and then pull in stuff from Top Shelf Aquatic as well. They would make the perfect YouTube host. Let me tell you, they were on fire. I was in awe. I was like, dude. But unfortunately, I don't think they ended up doing it. Life just took over. I know Austin is more into reptiles now. He does a lot of chameleon and gecko stuff. But Remy is still at Top Shelf Aquatics. He actually recently sent over a Dragon Breath macroalgae video that I'll be using in a week or two. That's Remy. Still got the long hair. It's 2 years ago. Oh, look at this. The Acanthus Reef said that the clownfish is shown in Hong Kong videos Amphiprion CF latifas. Sorry, I can't pronounce the scientific name. Specifically, white margined variants with a particularly white soft dorsal fin. I'm gonna cap this, thank you, because I really love them. They are beautiful. They're one of the most graceful clownfish I've seen. I've seen that lati. I've seen that a lot. People saying that they kind of like one of the holy grails of clownfish. They're really rare. Not so much in the wild, but because they're not imported as much. They're not being collected as much. But that white margin variants, I'll check that out. Thank you so much. Let me screen grab that actually. It's solid information. Yeah, the fins they got is a little bit longer than a lot of people guessed they were clock eyes, but those were not it. Mr. John Curry, how are you doing? He is, I believe, the president of CMOS, one of the local reef club around the area as well. Super nice guy, man. He's one of the nicest guy I've had the pleasure of talking to. Bricks asks, is Reef Palooza going to be postponed this year? Yes, I believe. For sure, the New Jersey one is in December. I'm not sure when the other ones are, but I'm sure they have it on the website. Wild Reefer is starting a saltwater aquarium. Welcome to the hobby. I apologize to your bank account. How many corals have died with you? Yeah, man, I'm kind of embarrassed, man. Quite a few did not make it, but thankfully I have experts like my Reef Sensei Telegram there that rescue a lot of those like dying corals. I would just be like, Jim, this coral's not doing well. Can you take him? And he'll take him. And whatever corals he take, without fail, always does fantastic in the system. So hopefully with this new build, corals will do much better in my care. It's weird. It's like certain corals do really well in my system, and then certain corals just... MS asks, does you ever keep seahorses? I have not tried. I kind of want one, but at the same time I'm not sure it was worth the effort because you have to target feed them and whatnot, especially because they don't take prepared food like dry food. So I got to like unfreeze things and then squirt them in front of them. So I'm not sure, but in the NPS tank or macroalgae tank I want to keep a blue striped pipefish from Africa. So I feel like kind of like a seahorse, right? Maybe a little bit easier. The account in the chat said that the clownfish that I saw in Hong Kong, they come out of Madagascar, which makes them difficult to get here. Pretty sure that specific variety is northeastern source, but imagine there is some leeway. Happy to help. Fantastic. Let me cap that again. Madagascar. Awesome. Imagine there's some leeway to source. All right, let's check this. Thank you for the information. That's why I like social media. It's like a lot of things I learn from social media. Oh, check these out. Starting from this one, the lost power. This is when I started getting interested in thumbnails, thumbnail editing. So in terms of content creator, I went for a couple stages as well. Like the beginning of this live stream, which was long time ago, way too long. This was supposed to be a test. I just did point and shoot and just dump it online. That's it. I didn't think people would watch it, and honestly, nobody was watching it initially. It's mainly I just send a link out to friends and family, mostly friends, or like forum posts. I want to reference something. So it was no editing, and then at some point I got into editing a little bit more, like the RDI unit. That video I think was a turning point. And then at this video, the lost power, is when I give a more serious look in terms of thumbnail. Before this, out of thumbnail, I feel like it's okay. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, just jam things in there. I feel like it's kind of interesting, kind of fun. But from this point forward, that's when I really spent more time in thumbnail. I started reading saying that, okay, thumbnails, you don't want to repeat whatever you're saying in the title, right? Make it something a little bit different, because what's the sense of repeating whatever you have in the title already? Make it like 2 or 3 words. At least that's something that I want to try, because when you shrink down, look at the size of this little thumbnail. If you have a bunch of words on your thumbnail, people's not going to read it anyways. And then try to stick to more clear. Like before I had it slanted up, which is fine, but when I kind of straighten things out, it's a little bit easier to read, even though it's not as sexy. Oh, here it is. Here's when I told Emily, let me try to clickbait you in the thumbnail. Oh, I didn't work too well. Sorry. So I guess my audience is not the type that flock to ladies. And I told Alex here, budget to quad, I was like, yo, I'm gonna clickbait you too. It's like, really? Oh, this is a popular one. This one right here, this video. So continuing the around the world trip to meet up with Emily, we decided to meet up in Tokyo this time. And of course, while there, I figured let's create some content as well. And we visited this aquarium there. I did not have any expectation going in, because I did not know about this aquarium. But when I went there, I was like, holy crap, they got like a straight up garden eel tank. This is the first time I was seeing garden eel in person. And I bet you, like underneath the tank, they probably have a lot of sandbed that they tucked away within the stand, because the sand looked really shallow up top. But if I understand, the garden eel need at least 8 inches of sand. Just look how cool this is. And this was like more the carefree days back then, where we can travel whenever we want. And of course now with the new kid, we can't. It kind of sucks. And she's been complaining. She's like, I want to get out of the US. I've been stuck here for like 2 years already. Man, look at this. Look at this. Napoleon Ross, is that what it is? Yeah, this aquarium surprised me, especially in the beginning. I know a lot of you guys are watching this channel because you're a reef lover, but at some point I dabbled in planted aquarium as well, kicked my butt. Freshwater is not necessarily easier than saltwater. I did not have an appreciation for planted tank at this point yet, but when I see awesome, I know awesome, and this was freaking awesome. And these tanks were designed by the master Amano. I know of him, but I've never seen his work in person. And they were freaking impressive. And of course, like having the scale helped. The scale definitely helped. But for a non-planted tank guy to see a planted tank and just kind of like in awe, I spent like 45 minutes in here just looking and filming and just trying to sneak a peek at the equipment. That says something. Because let's be honest, like planted tank, typically it's hard to impress people with planted tank compared to like a reef tank, because reef tank, all the elements you have are so colorful. So individually they stand, they impress individually. Versus for planted tank, it's kind of like the sum of all parts that has to work together well in order to impress people. And these were impressive. And later on, I came home. I do a little bit more research. I was like, oh, okay, they have a whole series on building these tanks out. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And I think like this visit really sparked my interest in playing the tank a lot more. Oh, by the way, in terms of content creator, this video totally caught on fire. I know 400,000-ish view is not a big deal for a lot of you guys out there. But like for me, who get much less views, this was a big deal. And I was trying to figure out what happened. So looking at the analytics, I feel like a lot of people are sharing in, I think it's WhatsApp or Line or something like that. And I think it's probably because of the Takashi Amano tanks. A lot of people follow this the master of the Planet Aquarium, and I guess this is a good representation, good kind of like an up-to-date representation of how those tanks looks right now. So there are a lot of interest. Oh, that was a good trip. That year was fantastic, man. Me and Emily just going all over the place. And here's which Reef Palooza is this? New York. This is the second one that I've been to. This video is a lot more polished. I actually spent the time to cut things together and syncing them up with music. Look at Richard. He is smart. He is a stand-up dude. Love him. Oh man, look at these. Reef Sensei. Look at this. I need to go back. Well, I can't. It's quarantine. I need to work with him to do update on system because a lot has changed. He has joined the GHL rank, and it seems like he loved it. And I feel like GHL is a really good fit for him because it's really I feel like it needs a lot of you need to know your stuff. you need to be willing to spend the time to learn the UI. But if you learn it, at least according to him, it's kind of like bulletproof, and the track record for GHL speak for themselves. Hardware is like stable, rock solid. I think I was talking to Steven or somebody who, Steven Habisai, who's also a big fan of GHL. They pointed out that you've never really see a GHL hardware failure compared to other brands. The hardware could fail, but GHL you just don't hear it. However, the UI, having used the GHL's Minis UI on my mobile phone, does leave something to be desired. Maybe it's because I do UI design for a living. There are a lot of places for improvement I can see. I was like, are you serious? But in terms of actual hardware, bulletproof. And there's a good reason why so many people use it. And if you think about it, a lot of these things, you kind of set it up and just not touch it as much anymore. So I guess you could argue that hardware may be a little bit more important than user interface. So it is good that they make sure the hardware is first and foremost solid, which they are. But I do hope that they could make the interface a little bit more innovative. Well, not innovative, just a little bit more friendly. But yeah, I know Jim Telegram has been experimenting with like dosers and whatnot running by the GHL P4. So be sure to check out his video. Look at the Space Invader. You see that Space Invader? That was that tiny guy from my tank. I grew up to like maybe like this big, and then I have like elk swing because I was using Resi Salts, the Pro, when I'm not a pro. I did not realize the DKH makes it like 11. My tank was at like 7 or 8. So each time I do a water change, I get a spike. And each time I spike, Coral that's not happy, I immediately do another water change thinking there's something in my water. Yeah, because I was introducing it. So I was like having a huge elk swing problem. So I ended up seeing the Space Invader start receding. So I was like, Jim, help. And he's like, yeah, man, just bring it over. And brought him over, and he turned it from like this little guy to like this. And since then, he gave me like some like chunky frag to restock the tank with. And that's a fantastic thing about making friends with like awesome hobbyists around the area. You guys can kind of bank your corals with Jim. And Jim has the reputation locally now to be kind of like the hospital tank for all of us, or the bank. So all our local friends have been like jamming his tanks with like corals. But yeah, I think he changed up a lot of things in his setup already. So we definitely need to do a follow-up. And he has been doing a lot of live stream on YouTube recently. He is a huge DIY guy. He built his own light. He called it the Blue Sensei, this guy right here. He was trying to do a tutorial on how to build your own lights. He does acrylic cuttings. He does 3D printing. That guy does it all. Yeah, it's one of the guy I respected the most in the hobby. There are a few guys that I'm like, okay, these guys know what they're talking about. And even if they do a guess, it's a really well educated guess, and usually they're right on the money. All right, let's follow up some comment real quick. Austin and CE said, "Is there a way to be friends with INA4? Not too sure what that means. Do you guys know INA4? Someone 6Reef asked, "What's his channel?" His channel is Telegram. TELEGLAHM. You can type, man. Let's see, and type here. Okay, I just added a comment. There you go. Oh, Telegram's doing here. What's going on, Sensei? ATF in the house. Letter, singular, senior, toast to Gorgonians. Good with non-reef safe? Non-reef safe fish? Depends on what fish. I think most reef safe caution fish, they go after inverts like hermit, snails, and crabs. But a lot of them simply leave corals alone. So it really depends on what fish. Brah, thank you for your kind words. Sorry, I've been neglecting the comments. I need to figure out how to bring people in because I'm losing my voice. I've just been talking, but it's so much fun. I have to figure out how to bring people in OBS. I guess I can do... I know Jim does. Is it Skype or Zoom? I guess you can do Zoom and then bring it in as a video source and then pop it on OBS, right? LG Warrior. It's because GHL is German engineering. That's why they don't break. There's some truth to it, man. Now that I think about it, a lot of high-end cars are German as well. And they've been rock solid. Rami's in here too. How's it going? Sorry, my chat window is over here. I should probably put it on screen here. Bahama Lomas, Rami, I might need to get some GHL stuff for the new build. Talk to Jim. Also Steven. Austin said, "Can I be friend with Inappropriate Reefer on Facebook?" Yo, to be honest, I don't really do much on Facebook for Inappropriate Reefer. Like, all the update posts from Facebook pretty much is just like a copy over from Instagram automatically. At some point, I may start spending a little bit more time on Facebook, but right now, just too many platforms to manage. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's not spamming. Thank you for handling the moderation. Telegram said multiple monitors make it easier to bring in Zoom, Messenger, or Skype. Yeah, man, I set that up. I'll figure it out. This is like a first test. All right, let's take this guy off. Let's see what else we got, man. This is crazy. I wanted to can I? Oh, I can. Oh, I can. Yeah, you guys asked about Telegram. Here's Telegram. Look at his stuff. Awesome live streams. So this is what I hope I could do in the future. Well, you guys go check it out. So that is a channel, Telegram. Should I can I show this week's video? Wait, let me see. Yeah, let me do a, that would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Give you guys a sneak peek. If I go into this right now, the live, would it just be like a Inception kind of deal? All right, this week's video. Can I go to YouTube Studio? Oh yeah, I can. Okay, let's see. No, this is last week's. I I need a thumbnail. Look at this guy. Oh boy. How about this? She'll kill me. Just for now. I'll probably work on thumbnail like tonight or something. So okay. So we've been doing a series of breakdown. I thought it'd be funny. It's like breaking down the 45-gallon tank, breaking down the 10-gallon budget tank, breaking down the mangrove tank. But it's not just that. There's a little bit more. Can I play it? I'll play a little bit. I'll play a little bit. Sneak peek.
I tell you, we're gonna break down the 10-gallon tank today as well.
Oh my lord. So this is tomorrow's video. I'm gonna talk about breaking down a 10-gallon, but I also share an update on the 135. Look at that. It's end of an era for sure for me. But oh man, life is so much easier with 4 tanks. What else we got? Yeah, now I'll also share what happened to 135. There's a lot of update, and also kind of like a recap, which I wish I did for the drop-off tank. Recap including some like FAQs for the 10-gallon, what I wish I did differently, and what happened to the baby clownfish. Oh boy. Here's the mangrove tank. This is a quick view. We also transferred the clownfish to the big tank, and I'll show that. That was good times. But they'll come out tomorrow. Initially, the video is only going to be like 10 minutes, but then as I dig deeper and deeper, it went on and became like a 20 minutes piece. Oh man. Oh, let's sort by most popular. Haven't done that in a while. Yeah, like I mentioned, the Japanese ones, the Japanese aquarium tour, was really popular because of probably Takashi Amano. People sharing on one of the chats. The ecospheres, a lot of people are probably thinking about buying the products, so they're looking it up. Oh, this one, we didn't talk about it. Cost of setting up a 45-gallon reef tank. Oh man, that's a funny one too. I need to do one for no, but the general tank is gone. I should have done that. The mangrove tank maybe. The 146-gallon nano reef tank playlist is really popular because I feel like because I think like when people, it's kind of ironic too, like because the video right before it is the cost of setting up a 45-gallon reef tank. Like people get taken back by how much it costs, and that's also one of the main reasons I set up the nano tank series, to show that okay, I paid this much for the 45-gallon tank, but it doesn't have to cost that much. So I did the whole series, kind of challenge myself to see equipment-wise, can I get by with these affordable equipment? And I totally could. But of course, I did not add the cost of like sand, rock, water, livestock, corals to this build. And also I did not add the cost of the auto top-off system, which is optional, but is strongly, strongly recommended. And of course, those will also drive the cost up. But if you want to just do a really bare bone setup, totally doable, cheaply. What? I didn't realize my axolotl tank video got that much views. I actually stopped doing freshwater videos because I feel like nobody want to watch it. People come here for the marine stuff. But that tank, I'm debating whether I want to tear it down. Because again, I'm trying to oh my god, look at how small the pothos are. Now it's like all over the tank. Maybe I would do an update video. This is an interesting setup as well in terms of axolotl keeping. Because axolotl, a lot of times people keep them in either a bare bottom tank or just like pool sand tank. Hindsight, I probably would have gone for pool sand. I did this initially for thinking that I could do stem plants or carpeting plants in the axolotl tank, but that was not to be. The axolotl simply just dig things up like some people said that they would, and they never let the stem plants really settle in. So I would have just done maybe little pots inside pool sand and maybe do mostly floating plants and also Anubias like these guys on wood. These work out well. The Amazon sword also worked out well. The carpeting plants I planted here, that looks so nice, did not last more than 2 months. Whew. Look at these guys. That's a cool video too. I miss my Yashigobi. All right, let's catch some comments. I'm probably gonna cap it here. I gotta go do some other stuff. I've been spending a lot of time. How long have I been live for already? Is there a time? Sure, Christopher, you'll be here to the end. I'm ending it. You're good. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Again, this is simple test. I feel like the test went well. It seems like, at least in terms of reaction video, I can do it. The next thing is to see if I could bring in guests and manage that. And I also want to bring the chat to the screen. I saw how to do it, but it seems like I can only do it after I started the stream, and it's a little bit too stressful, so I'll do it next time. Let's see here. While Reefer said do more updates on the 135-gallon tank, I'll have a pretty good overview update tomorrow, next video, which is tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. So we'll have that, but I did not really go super in depth because there's so much to cover, and that will probably come in 2 videos, and by then things should be settled in, pretty happy. Oh, this is when the Yashagobi paired up. Man, this is sad, dude. If you guys don't know, one of the Yashagobi actually jumped through the mesh top, and the mesh top, the netting was actually one of the smallest one I could find in terms of like BLS that provides this kind of the mesh. Since then, I've been able to find even finer mesh that was used in fabric, but that was because the female goby actually jumped through the mesh and landed on top of the mesh, couldn't get back in. It's ironic. The thing that's supposed to keep them from jumping out ended up killing them. And you noticed one of the Yashagobis missing its top ray. It grew back. I think they were fighting and got lost. Yeah, dude. Whew. All right, I'm gonna cap the stream off here. It's gone on way long. If anybody else is planning to stream right after this, leave in a comment. Just carry on the live stream fun on a Saturday. John Curry, it's your fault why we have Axolotl now. My daughter saw your videos. Yo, Axolotl's awesome, man. And thank you for being a good dad, supporting your daughter getting into the fantastic hobby of amphibian keeping. Alright guys, Mr. Mushrooms, buy more coral, more videos. Yo, they cost money. They're not free. Maybe I'll try to do some trade or whatnot. Mr. Telegram, are you streaming after this? Because I'm about to sign off. So for all of you guys who are just kind of hanging out, make sure you guys check out Telegram. He does boxes and booze. Did I get it order right? Or is it booze and box? I think it's boxes and booze, where he either unbox something or bring on special guests or do some kind of DIY projects. Usually the stream, unlike this one, which is kind of just like blah 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 blah, the ones he does are really concise and informative. Usually runs about half an hour, so be sure to check it out. And I'm really pushing his stuff because he is super knowledgeable, super nice guy, and he has a lot of like innovative ideas. And also he recently gained access to a spectrometer, so he can really dive into spectrums of different light. So it's not a par meter where it just gives you a reading. Spectrometer actually tells you the quality of the spectrum, how it's mapped out. So he was able to compare a lot of the popular lights out there, see exactly why they work, why they're so popular, and then what you can do to kind of match up those spectrum to give the best possible light to your corals. So lots of really interesting stuff happening, and not to mention he is a big DIY guy, so he was showing people how to like wire things up and soldering. It's just a great channel. That's why I want to keep pushing him up forward in front of you guys. And of course, got to give a shout out to Remy Bahama Lama as well. His videos are really polished, really informative, and it's just a pleasure to watch. It's fun, entertaining, and informative. So be sure to check him out as well. All right, that's that, guys. I'm gonna sign off here. Let me see if I can sign off of this stream gracefully without too much awkwardness. Give me 1 second. And again, thank you for all of you guys who tune into this test. It has been a lot of fun. And I think I probably try to do at least one of this a week, maybe some kind of reaction video. If I do this right, once I push this button, that's it. So have a good rest of the weekend. Stay safe. Stay indoor. Stay healthy. See you guys tomorrow.